He cheated on me countless times. Now he's marrying my best friend and asked me to be her bridesmaid. You won't believe what I did when I found out the truth about their secret relationship. I met Jake when I was 22, fresh out of college, and still clinging to the idea that love was supposed to feel like a movie. He was charming in that lazy, southern way. Slow drawl, easy smile, the kind of guy who made you feel like you were the only person in the room. We met at a 4th of July barbecue in Austin, and by the end of the night he was holding my hand and telling me I had the kind of laugh that made people want to be better. I should have known then. Anyone who talks like that is either a poet or a liar. Jake was definitely not a poet. We dated for 3 years. The first 6 months were bliss. He brought me flowers for no reason, cooked me breakfast in bed, wrote me little notes, and left them in my purse. I thought I'd won the lottery. But slowly things started to shift. He'd disappear for hours, sometimes days, with vague excuses. Work stuff, helping a friend, needed space. I found a pair of earrings in his truck once. Gold hoops I'd never seen before. He said they were his sister's. He doesn't have a sister. The first time I caught him cheating was with a girl named Marissa. She worked at the same bar he bartended at, and I found out because she posted a picture of them kissing on her Instagram story. I confronted him and he cried. Real tears. Said he was drunk. Said it didn't mean anything. Said he loved me. I forgave him. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't want to start over. Maybe because I thought love was supposed to hurt a little. It happened again 6 months later. Different girl, same story. This time it was a waitress named Tasha. I found texts on his phone, explicit ones. I remember sitting on the bathroom floor, shaking, while he banged on the door and begged me to let him explain. I let him. He said he was broken, that he needed help, that I was the only one who made him feel whole. I stayed. Again. Over the next year, I lost count of how many times he cheated. Sometimes I knew, sometimes I just suspected. I became someone I didn't recognize, jealous, paranoid, constantly checking his phone, his location, his social media. I stopped seeing my friends. I stopped painting, which used to be my escape. I stopped laughing. I was just surviving, hoping that one day he'd wake up and realize I was enough. Through all of this, my best friend Claire was my rock. We'd been friends since high school, inseparable. She was the one who held me when I cried, who told me I deserved better, who helped me pack my things every time I swore I was leaving him for good. She hated Jake. Or at least, that's what she said. Claire was beautiful in that effortless way. Long blonde hair, green eyes, the kind of girl who made heads turn without trying. She'd had her own share of heartbreak, and we used to joke that we were cursed when it came to men. She was the only person who knew every detail of what Jake had done to me. Every betrayal, every lie, every time I felt like I was losing my mind. She knew it all. So when I got the text from Jake saying he had big news, I didn't think much of it. I assumed he was moving, or maybe finally getting therapy like he'd promised 100 times. I didn't expect what came next. He called me that night, voice all excited and giddy like a kid on Christmas morning. Said he was engaged. I froze. I didn't say anything. Then he said her name, Claire, my best friend, the person who'd held me through every breakdown he caused. I thought he was joking. I laughed. He didn't. I hung up without saying a word. I stared at the wall for what felt like hours. My phone buzzed with texts from Claire. I wanted to tell you sooner. It just happened. I didn't plan this. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My body felt like it wasn't mine, like I was watching someone else's life unravel. The next few days were a blur. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I just kept replaying every moment in my head. Every time Claire told me Jake was trash, every time she said I deserved better, every time she hugged me and said she'd always have my back, I felt stupid, humiliated, betrayed in a way I didn't know was possible. Then came the final blow. Jake texted me again, said they were planning a small wedding in the fall, and that Claire wanted me to be her maid of honor. I read the message 5 times, thinking maybe I was hallucinating. He said it would mean the world to them, that it would show how far we've all come. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. I didn't respond right away. I didn't know how. I kept thinking maybe it was some twisted test, like if I said yes, they'd realize how insane it was and take it back. But they didn't. Claire followed up with a voice note, crying, saying she didn't want to lose me, that she loved me, that Jake had changed. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I started getting messages from mutual friends. Some were shocked, some were supportive. Some said I should be the bigger person. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to erase every memory of both of them, but I couldn't. They were everywhere, in my photos, my stories, my past. I finally agreed to meet Claire for coffee. I don't know why. Maybe I needed closure. Maybe I wanted to see her face when she tried to explain the inexplicable. She looked nervous, like she knew she was walking into a war zone. She said she didn't mean for it to happen, that they reconnected at a party, that it just clicked. She said she tried to fight it but couldn't. I asked her if she remembered the night I called her sobbing because Jake had cheated again. She said she did. I asked her how long it had been going on. She said 6 months. 6 months. While I was still trying to heal, still trying to make sense of the wreckage, they were building something new. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I told her I needed time. She nodded, said she understood, said she hoped I'd come around. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be part of their story. I didn't want to stand next to her while she married the man who broke me. But part of me also wanted to show up, to wear the dress, to smile for the photos, and to let them see that I survived, that I was still standing, that they didn't win. I didn't give her an answer right away. I told her I'd think about it, and for weeks I did. I went back and forth in my head, weighing the humiliation against the strange, bitter satisfaction of showing up and refusing to be erased. I imagined myself walking down the aisle ahead of her, holding her bouquet, smiling like none of it mattered. I imagined locking eyes with Jake and watching him flinch. I imagined the whispers from guests who knew the story, who would wonder what kind of woman could do that and still stand tall. But the truth is, I wasn't standing tall. I was unraveling. I cried in the shower, in the car, in the grocery store. I couldn't look at myself without seeing the girl who stayed too long, who forgave too much, who trusted the wrong people. I started journaling again, something I hadn't done since college. I wrote everything down, every betrayal, every lie, every moment that made me feel small. I filled pages with memories I didn't want anymore, trying to bleed them out of me like poison. One night, I went through my old photos. There was one of me and Claire at a beach in Galveston, laughing with our arms around each other. We were 25, sunburned and tipsy, and I remember thinking that no matter what happened with Jake, I'd always have her. I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I deleted it. I started talking to a therapist. Her name was Dana, and she didn't flinch when I told her the whole story. She just nodded and asked questions that made me think in ways I hadn't before. She asked me what I wanted, not what I thought I should do, not what would make me look strong, but what I actually wanted. I didn't know how to answer at first. I'd spent so long reacting to other people's choices that I'd forgotten I had choices of my own. Eventually, I told her I wanted peace. Not revenge, not closure, not a dramatic confrontation. Just peace. I wanted to stop waking up with a pit in my stomach. I wanted to stop replaying conversations and imagining alternate endings. I wanted to stop letting Jake and Claire live rent-free in my head. So I made a decision. I texted Claire and told her I wouldn't be in the wedding. I said I wished her well, but I needed to protect my own healing. She responded with a long message about how she understood, how she was sorry, how she hoped one day we could rebuild. I didn't reply. Jake didn't reach out again. I think he knew better. Or maybe he just didn't care. Either way, I was grateful. I blocked his number, unfollowed him on everything, deleted every photo, every message, every trace. It felt like scrubbing a stain that had soaked into the fabric of my life. It didn't come out completely, but it faded. I started painting again. At first it was just abstract stuff, colors and shapes that didn't mean anything. But then I started painting women. Women standing alone in fields, women staring into mirrors, women walking away from burning houses. I didn't show them to anyone. They were just for me. Little pieces of myself I was stitching back together. I reconnected with old friends. Some of them had drifted away during the Jake years, and I wasn't sure they'd want me back. But they did. They welcomed me with open arms, no judgment, just love. I told them the story in bits and pieces, and they listened. They didn't try to fix it. They just sat with me in the mess. One of them, Rachel, invited me to a weekend retreat in the hill country. It was all women, all healing, all quiet. We did yoga, drank wine, cried under the stars. I told my story one night around a fire, and when I finished, no one said anything. They just nodded. One woman reached over and held my hand. I didn't know her name, but I'll never forget that moment. The wedding came and went. I saw a photo on someone's feed. Claire in a white lace dress, Jake in a navy suit, both of them smiling like they'd never broken a single thing. I stared at it for a second, then closed the app. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel sadness. I just felt distance. Like I was watching a movie I'd already seen and didn't need to see again. Months passed. Seasons changed. I moved to a new apartment, got a new job, started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee and conversation. I was cautious, maybe too cautious, but I didn't apologize for it. I'd earned the right to protect my heart. One night, I got a message from Claire. Just one line, I miss you. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't respond. Not because I hated her, but because I didn't owe her anything. I'd given enough. I'd lost enough. I'd learned enough. This isn't a story about revenge or redemption. It's a story about survival. About choosing yourself when it's the hardest thing to do. About walking away from people who don't know how to love you, even when they swear they do. About finding peace in the wreckage and building something new from the ashes. I'm not the same woman I was when Jake first held my hand at that barbecue. I'm stronger now. Not because I endured the pain, but because I finally stopped letting it define me. And that, more than anything, is what saved me. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this.